Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Heritage. And on today's episode, we're looking at the Red Fort complex of India.
Yep. This is
Ooh.
yep. This is the palace fort of Shahjahanabad, which was meant to be the new capital for the Mughal Empire, named after Shah Jahan, the fifth emperor of that dynasty. Uh, the Red Fort itself is named because it's made of massive red sandstone. Um, it forms the Red Fort complex that is in this UNESCO inscription with an older fort, um, the Selimgar, which was built, I believe, a few centuries earlier by Shah Suri in 1546. Um, and just looking at the initial picture, you can see kind of right away some of why it is significant. This is very beautiful, very sort of ornate complex here. It has a very unique form of arch, combining both Muslim archways and the more traditional Indian designs, which was something the Mughal dynasty was known for doing.
It also has very intricately painted walls, very intricately carved stone facades. I mean, the sandstone exterior looks very beautiful, very intricate. I always mention the Arabic arches; those are very prominent and present. Um, it's a very beautiful, very ornate palace or fort, I guess, is what you would call it. But
Yeah.
it definitely was a projection of power for sure.
Oh yeah. The, there's nothing says projection and your sway of your influence like a nice giant piece of public works.
Yeah.
Well, not really public, I guess.
I mean,
But you
just a
can look
massive
at it.
structure. Look on ye mighty and wonder.
Exactly.
Good old
The
Ozymandias.
the Red Fort was so opposing or imposing and well, shall we say, rather well placed for its purposes that when the English move in, the British Empire occupy the fort and administer the region from it.
Oh God! Naturally, the British show up.
Yeah,
Can't
the
do anything in India without the British showing up.
Hmm.
yeah
The Raj.
yeah yeah. Surprisingly enough, the British, with their habit of like destroying things, don't really go in on reworking the Red Fort to their liking. The most damaging thing they do is they replace one of the rivers. They divert it away and replace it with a road.
They also added a few new buildings and functions over the earlier Mughal structures, but yeah, they
But
left
like,
it relatively untouched.
yeah, they added their own stuff to the side, but they didn't do what they like to do, which was rip out the paneling and more or less rebuild it. Which you see in a number of other Indian cultural sites that the British came across.
And the interesting thing here is this site too also ties into a lot of Indian identity, especially Indian independence against British rule, where it was originally celebrated Indian independence and still celebrated to this day.
Yeah,
But it's been host to a number of really critical events to both their regional identity and the geocultural region in a whole. So
you
it's
know,
quite a large and important facet of the region.
oh yeah, definitely. In the like 300 to 400 years that this has been here, it has changed hands a number of times, but it has always been a symbol of multiculturalism within India and of Indian national identity. Whether that is the various empires fighting for control across the northern half of the subcontinent to resistance to British rule to just straight up the modern nation itself.
And one of the things that does kind of work in its favor is this property has been declared a monument of national importance under the Ancient Monument and Archaeological Site Remains Act of 1959, in which a buffer zone was established. Although the state conservation of the property has improved over the past 10 years, there's still a lot more work that needs to be done to put it into a stable condition and prevent tourists and visitors from doing increasing levels of damage, which is honestly a fight a lot of sites are going through currently. But it's fairly well protected and it's managed by the Archaeological Resources Survey of India. So it's run by people with hopefully the right knowledge and will, and
Yeah.
they pay attention to it. But it's interesting.
Oh yes, definitely, and it's it should hopefully be in a pretty good place. One of the nice things about this though that makes it pretty fairly simple, or at least a straightforward job, is that most of the buildings there, the British ones and the Mughal ones, are very well documented throughout history, and thus their authenticity is very much assured. The only thing really up in question about the current layout of the Red Fort, aside from the river being replaced with a road, is the current layout of one of the gardens is somewhat disputed. As exactly what plants were put where is, something that can change quite easily with very little archaeological footprint.
But even beyond that, a lot of the buildings were still maintained the authenticity and weren't adapted or changed too much. Which also just kind of means that the British came in and just set up shop inside and didn't do their normal British thing and like, all right, loves, we're gonna start interior decorating. These walls, they're quite drab. We just need to tear them out.
And by interior decorating, I mean I'm going to take these walls and decorate the interior of my home in London.
Well, they'd make lovely decorations back home. I mean, look at
Yeah.
these intricate tilings. Look at these wonderful marbles.
The
It's
locals simply couldn't possibly
Yeah. I
admire
think
this enough like we can. Oh,
yeah.
no, no, no.
These religious wall sculptures would make wonderful coasters.
In
Average
my
British person in the 1800s.
right, it look great in my estate in the Cotswolds.
The British Museum would like to know the location of this wonderful palace.
Yeah, the British Museum would like to know your location. Hide everything.
But
Do not resist. We are not stealing
we are
this.
protecting you. We are protecting them.
Yeah.
That's a good point for us to wrap up. We got kind of off the rails there. Thank
But
you
yeah,
guys for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like down below, and we'll catch you in the next video.